everyone, this is Debbie from Project 39 Mini Albums. Now I want to show you a couple of Traveler's Notebooks I made. Now I'm going to show you a tutorial on how I did this. It'll be mostly watching me and me doing a voiceover because I'm at a campground and there is a guy playing a tuba not too far from me, so I couldn't record this with a voice when I was making it. But anyhow, I'm doing one without the laminating and one with laminating to show you the process of both. You don't need a laminator to make Traveler's Notebooks. Now, basically, the way I made these is I was just using up scraps, and I also was using some pre-made notebooks along with other books that I make. So let me show you how I made these. Before I start with the process, I want to show you a couple other ones I made so you will see some different options. So in the front of this one, there's a folder, and then we have some pages. It's a small one. It just has just one little book. This one has several different of the notebooks that I picked up from Dollar Tree. There's the folder in the front, and I made lots of tags and added some tulle at the top. You see the pom-poms, lots of pages. You'll see there were some stickers on the pages. And this one's a little chunkier because it's got two of the mini composition books and one of plain paper. So again, just a different option to show you. Here's the composition books I used. The one on the right came from Walmart. This one, oh, I'm sorry, this one came from Walmart. The one on the right actually came from Dollar Tree, and as you can see, it's just a little bit smaller. If you use one, you may need to adjust your size. I used just some plain white copy paper to make some of the other components of the book. All right, to get started, we're going to make the cover. I have a piece that is 7.5 by 5. We're going to score it at 3 3/8 by 4 1/8. And then we'll round the corners. So I'll just grab I think it's the 1/2 inch size and round all 4 corners. I'm going to be making a second book with a cardstock base, so we'll do it again, 7.5 by 5, score at 3 3/8 by 4 1/8, and corner round all 4 corners. We're going to attach cardstock to this because this one we're not going to laminate, so this one will be a little bit thicker, so it'll be just as strong as the laminated one. For the one with a cardstock base, you'll cut 4 pieces of pattern paper 3 1/4 by 4 7/8 round the outside corners. You also need 2 pieces that are 5/8 by 4 7/8. So here you see I've got 3 with the sheep on it and then this one with the wood grain. I will use that in the front and put a cut apart on it. So make sure you've got the orientation correct when you're rounding the corners of these. Those thinner pieces are for the spine. So I'm going to glue those onto the spine and then add my front cover and the back cover and then turn it over and do the inside covers. Then I'm taking my cut apart, which is 3 by 4, and I want to trim it down a little bit, so I'll take off some of that darker teal border, and then I will glue that onto the front cover. It's pretty cute. I love the sheep. I'm going to laminate the one with the farm paper on it, so I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to put on the front cover. I use this teal wood grain piece and cut it down to 3 3/4 by 2 3/4 and just round 2 of the corners. I'll glue that on, put that on as a base, and then I can add other embellishments on top. I found this cute little pig in the odds and ends and this word bubble that says oink. I just think that's adorable. Okay, I'm going to laminate the one with the pig. So I put it in sort of a sleeve. It's just 2 pieces of the uh, laminating plastic. I put tape on one end just so it sticks together while I put it through my laminator. So I'm going to put it through the laminator a couple of times. I do take my bone folder and push it down while it's still hot, thinking it may help get rid of some of the air bubbles. It doesn't really, but I try. So again, I put it through a couple of times and then I will trim the plastic off of the side. As I said, you don't need a laminator. You could do it without laminating the cover. After I trim the plastic, I round the corners again. I have to put it back on my scoreboard and rescore it. So I put it at that 6-inch line because I have a pen line going through it. You can't start at the beginning because that lamination makes it a little bigger. Then I make 3 holes. I do one on each side and then one in the center with my small punch from my We Are Memory Keepers Crocodile. And then I need a hole in the middle, so I'm going to do it 2 different ways. This one I use my little old-fashioned hole maker, don't know a better word for it, and just hammer a hole, and I put in an eyelet there. I'll show you how I did it on the non-laminated one, but I'll go ahead and use the Crocodile, and with the eyelets, I will set the eyelets. So there's 3 on the top, 3 on the bottom, and 1 in the middle. So for this one, I just take a small hole punch. Now it is not centered, but that's okay because now the string won't go around the important part of the picture. I use my uh, manual setter to do that center one to put eyelets in there. You don't really need eyelets. I just like the look of it. I have some elastic in my stash. I could not tell you the width of this elastic. Some I have that's blue and then some I have that's white. I just decided to change it up. I use 3 times the height of the notebook as sort of a guesstimate of how much I'll need. I mean, that plus a little extra. Okay, to thread this, I'll start by going through the center from the outside to the inside. The red and white is the inside. I'm cutting a little piece off to make it so it'll fit in the hole. And then I will go to the eyelet to the right and go up from the outside and go from the inside to the top corresponding eyelet. Then I'll go into the middle and pull that. And then what you have to do is go into the middle one. There's already an elastic in there, so you have to sort of pull it taut so it will go in the center. And then go to the eyelet on the left side of the center and come up from the outside to the inside, go to its corresponding eyelet on the top, and then go up again through the center. You have to hold on to that other string or else it's just gonna wreak havoc. And then you just pull the ends and tie it. Just make a granny knot with the 2 strings. So what you'll have is you have 3 holes, but you have 4 different strings because you have 2 on the inside. And that's what you want. You want the 4 holes. You can put 3 books and sort of a folder in the front. And then I take the other piece that I cut that's about 2.5 times the width of the cover and tie it on the inside. I'll put my bone folder to hold it so it doesn't slip through. And I tie it at the very top. You can always retie it if it's too loose, but it turns out fine. Now you can add a dangle or a charm or something on the this piece that holds the book together, but I didn't in this case. I usually do, but I didn't have anything that really matched real well. Okay, so the mini composition books that I have are plain covered. So I'm going to use one for the piggy paper, the pink one, and then I'm going to show you how to cover the blue one. The pink one I'm not going to cover, I'm just going to add something to. So to cover this, I cut a piece of a decorative paper, 2 3/4 by 5 1/2. I will put double-sided adhesive, some score tape, and I just peeled it off. I guess I did it off camera. And I will very carefully place it on the edge of the book, just making sure it is perfectly straight. Sometimes I'll make it too big and then just take an X-Acto and cut around it. But in this case, I was real careful about cutting it perfect, although there was some overage. So I am taking my X-Acto and cutting a sliver of that paper off. Probably nobody would notice it but me. Anyhow, I cut that off, and then since I have the X-Acto, I'm going to cut around the corners instead of using a corner rounder. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. I'm showing you a different option. For this one, I will take a piece of decorative paper that's 5 inches long by 4 1/2 tall. So some of it will go on the book, and I will score it at, so there's 2 and, how much is it? 2 3/4 on the outside of the book, and then the rest will be on the inside of the book. So I'll add glue to the larger piece. So instead of double-sided tape, I'm going to use glue because it gives you a little room to work. I'm putting it on my surface so I don't get my purple desk all messy. So I'll put it, folding it back just to make sure that I have it right up against the edge and it's centered real well. And then once I have that, I will go ahead and add glue to the inside piece. Yep, it looks good. Burnish at the corner, add glue, and then just fold it over. So as you can see, there's some decorative paper on the inside. I'll burnish that glue real well, and then round the corners, and then we've got the back of the book. So you could do it either way. And here I'm showing you how I decorated the book. The pink one has the sweet country girl with the horse, and then I've got just a little word bubble that says "What's Moo" for the cow. Okay, now we're going to make some little folders that have copy paper. So the copy paper is 4.5 by 6.5, and so is the either cardstock or pattern paper, whichever you prefer to use. So I'll go ahead and score the paper at 3 1/4. Add the paper into the book, staple it from the outside in, so the inside of the staples are in the center of the book. Oh, here I'm rounding the corners of the paper and the covers. All right, to decorate the books I made out of cardstock, I'm going to cut some decorative paper 3 1/8 by 4 3/8. You'll need 2 for each, and then round the corners. I suppose you could put some on the inside, so if you want to, cut 2 more. So here are the booklets I made. So I have 2 for each book, and I just added some things from the odds and ends onto the covers. Okay, so I like a folder in the front of the book, and I have a piece of decorative paper 6.5 by 5. Score it at 4.5, and then rotate it and score it at 1/2 inch. I didn't have any larger pieces, that's why I am sort of making do with this, and I am gluing additional pieces onto that 1/2 inch tab from the border strip of the paper. Then I'll make diagonal cuts at the center and then glue the edges down on each side just to make a small little pocket. It's just about big enough for a 3x4 card, although you might have to cut it down. So see, just because of how I glued it. But there, we put them in. And you should round the corners. I don't know why I didn't here, but that will go in the front of the book. And then you'll take whatever order you want to. I'm putting the composition book in the middle, and on each end of the composition book, one of those little folders that we made, not folders, the little notebooks we made out of the copy paper. And that is really all there is to making the book, except for doing some additional decorating. So I added some cut aparts into the pocket of that other folder, and I took a little paper clip, and then there's stickers and pieces of paper that I added to the side of the pages, just, whatever I had left to decorate with. I really didn't have too much. I sort of had to make do with what I had. But it makes a cute little notebook. So there is one. Let me show you the piggy one. And this is a good example of laminated versus not laminated. You could do it either way. I think they're both cute, and I don't think someone would say, oh, it's not laminated. So that is how I made these micro mini traveler's notebooks using paper from my stash. In this case, it was Doodlebugs Down on the Farm. Great paper. I still have some things left. I don't know what I'll do with it. I might just save it to make some cards. I don't have too much of the pattern paper, so I'll see what I can use to match it. And that's what I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and have a fabulous day.